Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om Gananaam Tva Ganapati Gum Havamahe Kavim Kavinam Upamasravastamam Jyeshtarajam Brahmanam Brahmanaspata Anashrinvan Divis Siddha Sadhanam Prano Devi Saraswati Vajibhir Vajinivati Dhinama Vitrayavatu Ganeshaya Namaha Saraswati Namaha Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu mavid Vishavahai Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
My humble pranams at the lotus feet of our dear Swami. Dear sisters, brothers, youth, and children, welcome to our fifth in the series of talks on unity of faith. It is my privilege and pleasure to introduce our speaker this morning, whom our center tried to bring him to address our devotees in person about 9 years back. He is an exemplar of a typical Sai product. He is fortunate to be born in a family steeped in devotion to the great master. All his childhood dreams were fulfilled and he received his entire education right from primary school to postgraduate studies in the most coveted Sri Sathya Sai Institute of Learning. Having completed his bachelor's and master's degree with honors and a gold medal for academic excellence, he went on to pursue his MBA with a desire to serve his spiritual master, Bhagavan Sri Sathya Sai Baba. Until February this year, he served as a content creator at Radio Sai, the media division of Sri Sathya Sai Central Trust. His scope of work ranged from his instinct concepts to multimedia production and dissemination of spiritual contents based on the life and teachings of Bhagavan. During this period of 13 years, he has produced documentary videos and hosted radio shows with hundreds and thousands of followers worldwide. He is a regular speaker at Prashanthi Nilayam, addressing the devotees on many occasions. He has inspired many gatherings of devotees in USA, the Caribbean islands, the Middle East, and Nepal, apart from traveling all around India. He continues to be a mentor and counsel to many youth across the world in their personal and professional life issues based on his own lessons learned under Swami's lotus feet. He has authored 4 books, contents of which have also been widely shared in his blog. His blog has over 3 million views, and no doubt this has captivated many with his unique and simple writing style. His hobby as a photographer brought him a step closer to Swami's physical proximity as his official photographer, with such an alertness not to miss any memorable divine moments in pictures and interactions imprinted in his heart to learn innumerable lessons at thy lotus feet. Currently, he is the marketing manager for Aranyani, a brand name known for luxury bags that was inspired and instructed by Bhagavan to take the Indian artistry and its sustainability to the rest of the world. Sisters, brothers, youth, and children, please join me in welcoming our speaker this morning, Aravind Balasubramanya.
Om Sri Sai Ram. I offer my most humble pranams at the lotus feet of beloved Bhagwan. Dear Swami, respected elders, dear brothers and sisters, a hearty Sai Ram to all of you. It's so beautiful that Swami's love connects us across geographies, across time zones. You're seeing the sun there, I'm seeing the moon here, and yet we know it's the same light that we are seeing, the light of Swami's love. And that is the inspiration for today's theme as well, which is religions are many, God is one. Let's travel back several years, several decades to the Shivratri of 1967. Professor Kasturi, Swami's biographer, the first postmaster of Puttaparthi, Prashanthi, the first, so many things for Puttaparthi. He was going to Swami to ask for a cover design for the newly launched magazine Sanatana Sarathi. So, as he went to Swami, he wanted a cover design. Swami took a piece of paper and began to draw something on it. Professor Kasturi realized that this will probably be the cover design that Swami is designing on the spot. Not on a laptop, not with any software, but with paper and pen. Swami drew a circle, and to that circle, Swami attached 3/4 of circles, all around, like petals. And he actually put small petals in between each of these 5 circles. And Swami told Professor Kasturi that his photograph, his image could come in the central circle. And in those 5 discs that surrounded this circle, Swami put symbols for each of the major religions. He put the Omkara to represent the Sanatana Dharma, or what is commonly called Hinduism. And then he put the wheel, the Dharma Chakra, to represent Buddhism. Then the flame, the fire, to represent Zoroastrianism, the Parsi religion. And then the crescent and the star to represent Islam. And finally the cross to represent Christianity. And Swami gave this to Professor Kasturi and said, this will be our symbol. And Swami said that more important than the symbol and the name of the religion is the underlying truth, the underlying values, which are common across all the religions. That's why we see that the fundamental basis of everything, the fundamental basis of every religion is love. Because every religion is about God. And as Swami says, love is God, God is love. So it's about love. And all the other values emerge from this love. Swami says love in words is Sathya, truth. Love in action is Dharma, righteousness. Love in thought is Shanti. So Prema is the fundamental basis of Satya, Dharma and Shanti. Satya, Dharma, Shanti, Prema. These are the 4 primary values. That's why we sing a bhajan. Satya, Dharma, Shanti, Prema, Sabu ko dijo. And this is how the beautiful Sarvadharma symbol came into existence with these 5 religions. One thing is very interesting to note here, and this actually highlights how broad-minded God is, how large-hearted God is. Several years later, Dr. John Hislop, he was the president for the Sathya organizations in America, and he had established so many wings. He had grown the organization. He used to often get interviews And blessed is that soul, Dr. John Hislop, because he has recorded all his interviews with Swami. It's available as a book called Conversations with Bhagwan Sri Sathya Sai Baba. Beautiful it is. Going through that book, we come across an interview where Dr. John Hislop asked Swami, Swami, there are many Jewish devotees in America. And they wonder, why is it that you left out the Jewish religion? It's evident that they're feeling bad. Swami, you left out Jews, and the Jewish religion members, in fact, possibly outnumber some of the religions that are present in the current Sarvadharma symbol. That's what Hislop told Swami. And then Swami says, no, Swami is so large-hearted, he did not say, no, I have done, this is a symbol, it has to be 5 only, that's it. This is what I've established, this is our brand, this is our identity, nothing like that. Swami simply said, see, this was started with India as the base. So, the major religions in India have been depicted. In India, people often club Christianity and Judaism together. They think Jews and Christians are similar there. Then Hislop says, no, Swami, they are very different. It is so different. Swami says, if that is the case, then let them make a representation. Let all the Jews say that we want. We will include that. And that is why Swami included for the international organization, for the overseas devotees, a symbol that had 6 emblems, 6 representations, all the 6 religions. The Star of David got included in that. And for the India organization, it remained 5. See, that flexible, that large-hearted God is. Why I'm sharing this is because these are aspects that we have to imbibe in our day-to-day life. We have to learn from Swami. If we claim to be Sai devotees, if we claim to be Swami's followers, if we claim to be Swami's students, then we should also speak and act in a manner that Swami did. And this is a beautiful example to see how large-minded, how all-inclusive Swami is. We try to become very exclusive. We are very, very special. We are a cut above the rest. We take pride in being part of exclusive groups. I'm a Sai student. I'm a Sai devotee. I belong to this center. I am this. We try for exclusivity. The Lord is about all inclusivity. And as Swami said, all these religions are all different means to the same end. They're all based on the same love. They're based on the same values. So there's no difference. And that is why it didn't matter. I'm sure that if possibly Taoism or Confucianism, somebody had approached Swami and said, we need to include, Swami would have said, make it a 7-petaled one. Make it an 8-petaled one. No problem. Everybody is welcome to the kingdom of God. As you wish to see God, God will appear to you like that. That is the reason why in the Sanatana Dharma in India, that is the religion that officially I am part of, we have 33 crore deities. Full freedom. You want a stone to be your God, so be it. God is loving and kind enough to come to you in the form of a stone. You want this bottle to be your God, be a bottle God, not a bottle gold, bottle God for you. No problem. So that is the large-heartedness, that is the expansion love that Swami speaks about. And just like we celebrate the different colors in the world, just like we celebrate the variety of food in the world, that is how we must approach the religions as well. Celebrate the variety, more festivals, more aspects, more facets of God shine through each of these religions. In fact, I traveled back in time to different people of different religions, the way Swami attracted them, pulled them, and for all of them, they found fulfillment in Swami. When I think of Christianity, the person that comes to my mind is Mr. James Sinclair, big industrialist, owning the Sinclair group of institutions, group of companies. He's MD, CEO, president, founder for all of them. In his early childhood, he always sought to find Jesus. He always felt how unfortunate that I am born 2000 years after Jesus walked on this earth. God, I want to see you. I know you're there somewhere. And in 1964, he actually saw. Not just him, he and his wife Barbara also saw. It was when they were visiting a friend and they were staying at his cottage in the woodlands. One night, as they're preparing to go to bed, they see a gentleman dressed in white, full with hair tied into a knot, with a cloth, yes, the loving form that we know as Shirdi Baba, just appeared there and walked across the hallway into the wall and disappeared. And they were like, oh my God, what is this? The wife asked the husband, did you see that? He nodded, yes, I saw. What is this? That was the first indication. 4 years later, lot of terrible misfortune struck Mr. Sinclair. What happened? His business went down. The IRS, the taxmen were after him. He had to sell off his car to pay his debts, to pay his rent. He was on the verge of total collapse. He walks down to the underground cellar in his home, sits down and he prays. He says, God, I don't know where you are. I don't know who you are. But I know you are. You are there. And wherever you are, till you come to me, I'm not going to get up and go from here. I need you. Please, I need you. Swami says, if you need me, you deserve me. All that you need to do is to need me. And here was Mr. James Sinclair crying out like that. And at that moment, he sees one little child walk in there. Who is this child? Looked like a girl dressed in absolute beautiful jewels, smiled, and again vanished. He didn't know who this is, but he felt a lot at peace. And he began to meditate. He began to practice meditation after that. Things recovered. Many years passed. He would often get dreams. He would get visions. And in those visions, he would see this tall gentleman in white. And beside him, he would see a gentleman, a short gentleman in orange with a curly mop of hair. And a third gentleman who would look like Jesus, of course. Now we all know Shirdi Sai, Parthi Sai, Prema Sai. He didn't know all that, but he would keep seeing and he just continued with life, with meditation. I think Swami felt that enough was enough hints I have given. Now I'll go and shake him up. And so in 1984, Swami actually appeared beside him. Swami appeared in his room. One night as he was returning back from the bathroom to the bedroom, he sees Swami there and he's just thrilled, amazed and shocked and surprised and everything. And he's like, oh God, my God. Mr. James Sinclair, this is God. This is God. You're saying, oh God, this is a God that has come. And so the next day he went to a bookstore and just tried his luck describing this person and asking, is there any book on this person? Can you believe this coincidence? The owner of that bookshop happened to be Swami's devotee. And he said, wait, I'll give you a book. And he gave him The Holy Man and the Psychiatrist by Dr. Samuel Sandweiss, another great legendary devotee blessed with Bhagwan's love and grace from the United States. And that's how he landed up finally at Prashant Nilayam. Swami called him for multiple interviews. In one of the interviews, this is 1994, Swami told him, I came to you 30 years ago. Exactly 30 years back was when he had that vision of Shirdi Baba first. And Swami said, I came to you after that again. But you did not recognize me. That's why I had to come and shake you up. That's a Christian devotee. Thinking of a Buddhist devotee, who comes to my mind? Dr. Art Ong Jumsai from Thailand set up the first ever Sathya Sai school outside India. A great educationist, contributed hugely and immensely to Swami's mission. Swami has showered so much of love, grace, and blessings on him. A Buddhist by birth. And how was his introduction to Swami? Amazing. He was born during the World War, Second World War. And at that time, at Bangkok, Thailand, they were being bombarded by the Japanese bomber planes. And his mother used to constantly pray and pray and pray. He and his mother stayed at a home. And his mother would spend all time in prayer. One day, there's a knock on their door. There's a monk, a Buddhist monk, who comes dressed in orange. Small clues. He calls out to the mother and he gives her a small bag and says, pour the contents of this bag on the roof of your house and do it as soon as you can. And then he leaves. The mother opens the bag and she sees some white sand in it. And she feels that this is something that I should not ignore. And therefore, she goes to the roof and sprinkles this white sand everywhere on the roof. A few days later, a lot of bombing happens. Needless to say, when Jumsai and his mother walk out of their home, they realize that theirs is the only home that is standing amidst all the rubble all around. They used to stay in the army barracks. Naturally, these army barracks are targeted. And theirs is the only home standing. And during a summer course that took place in Vrindavan, Whitefield, Bangalore, where all the students from all the campuses were present, Dr. Jumsai was selected by Bhagavan to give a talk. And during his talk, he mentioned this incident. And Swami happened to be seated on the stage as he was speaking. I say this because many of the talks during summer course, it's not confirmed that Swami will be on the stage. Sometimes Swami will be there for the talk. For some talks, Swami would not be there. So for this talk, Swami was there. And Dr. Jumsai was narrating this incident and he said that that monk dressed in orange gave a bag filled with white sand. Immediately Swami turned towards him and said, hey, I gave vibhuti, not white sand. See these instances, so beautiful. Swami said, I gave vibhuti, not white sand. You pray to Jesus, I will come, I will respond. It's the same Lord who responds. You pray to Buddha, I will respond. Speaking of Islam, I'm reminded of Dr. Abdul Razak Baburao Korbu. He was a professor of law from Maharashtra, a state in India. I think Sangli district. In the college there, he used to teach law. And in 1977, he happened to have his first darshan of Bhagwan. And though, Islam is against the worship of an individual as God or a form, you don't have form at all. He fell in love with Swami. He loved Swami. And he just felt that this being is so full of love. At the same time, he was not very impressed with all these materializations. Swami waving his hand and creating some chain or ring or vibhuti. And he said, okay, fine, that's just a distraction, but this is a very loving and wonderful being. And he felt very happy. He fell in love with Swami. And love has no reason, no season. We fall in love and it's love at first sight for him. That was how it was. In 1981, he got to know that a new university had begun at Puttaparthi and they were looking out for lecturers and professors for 14 different subjects, one of which was mercantile law. And since he was a professor of law, he felt, oh God, this is great. Let me go and teach this subject. I'll apply for this. So excited he was that he immediately resigned from his university where he was working and he applied to this university. Only later he got to know that an advertisement for these 14 positions had been posted in the Sanatana Sarathi. And more than 1,000 applications had arrived. Because when he went to Puttaparthi, he was told that you please wait patiently. We have got more than 1,000 applications. We need to process them. He got dejected. He felt, oh my God, where is the chance? 1,000 applications. So with a heavy heart, he returned back. Now he's not even having a job. Doesn't know what to do because he's already resigned. Dear brothers and sisters, when you give up the world for the sake of God, God can never let you down. Swami will never let us down when we choose him. He can't. Swami loves the devotee much more than the devotee can love Swami. Just as the devotee yearns for Swami, Swami yearns for the devotee. Swami is just waiting. Why else will God put on all the limitations of a human form, take on all the troubles and suffering of a human form, and come to earth and get himself locked in one small room, stuck to a schedule where morning and evening you have to give darshans and listen to the headaches and problems and worries of people. Just imagine Swami's physical life, how difficult, how terrible, how boring, no vacations, nothing. Keep seeing problems day in and day out, and keep consoling people. Health problem, wealth problem, relationship problem, this problem, that problem, small problem, big problem, rank problem, keep consoling, giving strength. Any one of us would have broken down on day one itself. If 10 people come and tell their problems to us, we feel so weighed down. Oh, enough, I can't listen anymore. Please let me, I need to recharge myself. And God does this because of immense love. We think it's a cliche, the love of 1,000 mothers, but that's what it is. Swami had decided that it was time for Abdul Razak to come to him. And what happened? April of that year in 1981, Abdul Razak gets a letter informing him that he has been selected as a teacher. And he wonders, how did this happen? How did this happen? I have not given any interview also. I have not even been interviewed. So he landed up in Puttaparthi. And Dr. V.K. Gokak, the first Vice Chancellor of the Sathya University, he calls him and he tells, let me tell you how you were selected. We received more than 1,000 applications for 14 posts. And we had no clue how to go about sorting these. So we went to Swami. Swami said, don't worry, I will come there and solve your problem. And a couple of days later, Swami goes to the administrative block, the newly inaugurated ad block. And all the 1,000 plus applications are spread before him. And randomly, Swami picks up within 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, this, 14. Take these 14 and send them call letters. Employ these 14 as my teachers. And can you believe it? Those 14 envelopes contain teachers for each of those 14 different subjects. And Dr. V.K. Gokak shows Abdul Razak's envelope to him and shows him the unopened 1,000 odd envelopes. And he says, we have not even opened the other envelopes. So when we think of how Swami chooses us, let us realize that we have not come to Swami by chance, by accident. Even if the name Sai has fallen on our ears, it is not by chance. It is because Swami has willed. If we have had the chance to take his name, Sai Ram, Sathya Sai Ram, it's not by chance. It's his grace. It's his love that pours on all of us, for which we should always be grateful. Blessed are we that we are able to see him even in a photograph. Just think of it. No other God photograph exists in this world. Swami has given us that blessing that we can see him. Well, Abdul Razak's story doesn't end there. Swami had called him again for multiple interviews. During the interview, Swami asks him, "What's your name?" Abdul Razak. What's the meaning of Abdul? Swami, Abdul means devotee. What's the meaning of Razak? He didn't know. Swami said, Razak means God. Who is God? Swami, God is God. Swami said, Allah. What is Allah? And Abdul Razak says, Allah is God. He said, no, Allah means the one who is the supreme, the most supreme one. That is Allah. In Sanskrit, that is called Param Atma, the supreme Atma, Paramatma. Paramatma, Allah, that is what? The same. And then Swami looks into his eyes and says, Hey Abdul, I am your Razak. That's it. Professor Abdul Razak Porbu breaks down. He's in tears. He falls at Swami's feet and he's in bliss. And Swami asks him, Tell me what you want. He says, Swami, I want something which is the essence of the entire universe and is in some way connected to my religion. And Swami says, you are born in the religion of Islam, you yourself don't know anything about Islam. And he agrees. And then Swami lifts his hand and starts pulling back his robe. And then tells him, you have doubts about the materialization, right? He's just amazed. Swami says, look at my hand. Touch. Abdul Razak is hesitating. So Swami picks his hand and makes him rub all over his hand and says, you think? Then Swami says, now look. And even as he looks at Swami's hand, in the middle of his palm, a hole appears, exuding brilliant light. And from that emerges a ring, which Swami catches and gives it to him. Live demonstration in front of his eyes. And Swami shows the precious gemstones that surround the ring. And Swami says, these gemstones represent all the vibrations of the universe. And what's in the center there? There is a crescent with the star on it in green. And then there is some mystical arrangement. And Abdul Razak is so thrilled. And Swami puts the ring. Swami says, I will not put it on your right hand because the fingers have got twisted there. I'll put it on your left hand. Again he's thrilled. And to the left hand ring finger Swami puts, and it's a perfect fit. Later on, when Professor Abdul Razak came out and met another friend of his who was a devout Muslim, he looks at the ring and says that mystical design which you see represents Allah. And Abdul Razak himself didn't know. So thrilled. He served for a few years as a visiting professor in Swami's university. He's written a book as well. Amazing. See, that is how it is. Swami, God, Allah, Rama, Krishna, Buddha. I need not even go into Rama, Krishna and Ganesha because those forms Swami has shown to so many devotees multiple times. Dattatreya, Shiva Shakti, Ganesha, Shiva, Krishna, Rama, the Dashavatar. If I start narrating those stories, we'll go on and on and on, and there'll be no end to that. Because there's no end to his stories. As they say, Hari Anant, Hari Katha Anant. In the Lord is infinite, the Lord's stories are also infinite. And we are bound by time. I think I just have another 8-9 minutes. So now when all the lords, all the gods that we pray to are just the same, here's an important question. Is it important to follow any religion? Is it important to follow any single form of the Lord? When every religion leads to the same God, when all forms of God are the same, why should I be loyal or sincere towards one religion and one form of God? Mine is the religion of Sanatana Dharma. And my favorite deity was Ganesha, replaced by Swami now. You can see that. And I'm holding on to Swami. Should I be loyal and keep worshipping Swami, or can I change? Will God get upset if I worship Krishna? Will God get upset if I worship Rama? Or will God get upset if I change my religion and pray to Allah or pray to Jesus? You see, when we go to the ocean or the sea, the waters from all the rivers are there. Rivers are like the different religions. And in the ocean, the water of all the religions, I'm saying, yes, all the rivers are there. So once I have reached the ocean, it doesn't matter. But till I reach the ocean, I should go to the river near my house. Staying in South India, if I say I want Ganga, it's a lot of difficulty. So based on the circumstances that I am in, let me choose the river through which I am going to travel to the sea. It makes sense. Swami would give another analogy. Swami would say that when you want to dig a well to get water, no, water, that is divinity. Finally, water is what we want. Swami would say that you should dig deep in one place. Dig for 200 feet in one place and you will get water. Instead of that, if you dig for 20 feet in 10 places, what you get is 20 pits, no water. That is the reason we should be loyal to and stick to one name, one form of the Lord and one religion. I will possibly conclude with one beautiful personal experience where Swami imprinted this message in my heart. This is the message that I received from Swami personally, wherein he emphasized that for God it does not matter what religion or what name and form of the Lord you are worshipping, but you should be loyal to a single name and form. It happened in the year 2006. The festival of Ramzan was coming, and those were the times when Swami encouraged us, students, to put up programs in his physical presence in Sai Kulwant Hall. In fact, as I see it, I feel that these programs by students were precursors to programs by people from across the globe. I am sure that devotees from United States, from Canada, from Australia, from Sri Lanka, from Malaysia have all put up programs in the presence of Bhagwan, from Trinidad and Tobago, from Singapore, everywhere. And not just different countries, even from states within India. Maharashtra, Gujarat, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh, northeastern states, Rajasthan, Uttarakhand. All have put up programs in Bhagwan's presence. And Swami used the students as instruments to initiate this, I feel. So during those couple of years, any festival, any important day, Swami would be wanting to see the students put up a program. And how do we come up with programs? We would go and study Sathya Sai Speaks. We will read what Swami has said, because who better than Swami as the ultimate authority on anything? So we would read that and go and offer that itself as a program to him in his presence. And Swami would bless us in multiple ways. Group photos. He would give prasadam, chocolates. Many times during the program, Swami materialized rings and chains and vibhuti for many of the participants. This Ramzan in 2006 was a very different experience. Because it's an Islamic festival, we were all dressed, in Islamic clothes. We had the skull cap, we had the kind of dress that they wear, and because they usually sport a mustache and a beard, we also had all that, we were in that costume. What happened was something very beautiful. I will not go into details of that, but basically Swami called all of us participants into the bhajan hall and he began to speak to all of us. And he spoke to us for 1 hour on the significance of Ramzan, on Islam, various aspects, so many things he spoke. After which Swami asked, do you still want to do program? What is there to do program? Swami knew that our objective for the whole program was to get an opportunity to be close to him physically. And Swami gave that in the form of a beautiful interview in the bhajan hall, where he spoke to almost all of us. So we were all very happy, and we finally didn't put up that program in Swami's presence in Kulwant Hall at all, because we already got the reward without even presenting it. During that interaction, Swami suddenly asked me, what's your name? I said, Swami Aravind. Then your parents' name? I said, Swami Balasubramanya is my father, Hema is my mother. I said, Swami, I also have a sister, Shruti. Swami said, I know. Then Swami asked, all these names show that you are a Hindu. Then why are you wearing this Muslim dress? Swami asked. There's a reason why Swami asked this question. Very innocently, I tried to show off a little bit, possibly, to Swami. I said, see, Swami, I don't have any distinctions as Christian, Islam, Muslim, Hindu. No, Swami, I don't have any of these discrimination based on religion. For me, all are one. And that's why during a Hindu festival, I wear Hindu costume. During a Christian festival, I wear a Christian costume. Now during Ramzan, I'm wearing a Muslim costume. And I felt that I had given a stupendous answer. I felt that I had given an answer that would make Swami dumbstruck. Swami acknowledged with his eyes, smiled, and then said, be true to one costume at least. I'll repeat the sentence. Swami said, be true to one costume at least. It's no use wearing multiple costumes. Be true to that costume. Because each costume has a role that it demands. Another interesting thing is Swami said it's a costume. That's all. Religions are costumes we wear. That's it. But having worn that costume, behave like the character that costume embodies. Don't keep changing costume. It doesn't matter. Because the divine director is just looking at how well we are acting. And to show how well we act, which costume we wear doesn't matter, as long as we act true to that costume. And that is why, whatever be our religion, we can possibly, if we wish, if our heart feels, we can change our religion. We can change the deity that we love. We can change the way we approach the name and form of the Lord that we approach. But having done that once, it's not like fashion that you keep changing it every few months or every year. But hold on to it for our entire life. Dig, and dig deep and achieve. Achieve the purpose of that costume. The divine director is waiting to welcome us with open arms. These were some of the thoughts that I thought I would share with everyone. I know that very shortly you will be having your own Sarvadharma Stupa there. That's wonderful. It's a blessing. Swami inaugurated the Sarvadharma Stupa at Puttaparthi Prasanthi Nilayam during his 50th birthday, Golden Jubilee birthday in 1975. Again, the construction of that stupa is multiple miracles in itself. But I have been told that there might be a few questions, and in order to ensure that we have sufficient time for those questions and answers, I would like to express my gratitude to Swami and all the organizers for this opportunity to think of him, to speak about him. Thank you. Jai Sai Ram.
Thank you, Aravindan, for such a wonderful talk. You spoke so eloquently and covered so many wonderful topics that really help us understand the symbolism of the Sarvadharma Stupa and what religion should mean to us. We do have a few questions that we wanted to ask you. We have a lot of our SSC students that are watching today, as well as some of our youth and senior devotees as well. The first question that we have is, there are a lot of things that are incentivized for a person that exists in the world today. For example, studying hard gets me a good job, going to work gives me money to manage my livelihood and my desires. But how does one incentivize themselves to practice their religion? Especially for some of our younger SSC students, is it necessary to practice religion and for it to be incentivized? Because if there's no benefit to doing it, why do it at all?
I think this question comes because many of the rituals that we do it just because it's a ritual, without understanding the spirit behind the ritual. Swami often says that understanding the spirit behind the ritual makes it spiritual. For example, let me speak from the point of view of the religion that I am part of. Sanatana Dharma, Hinduism, as they say. There is this ritual that we do of the Mangala Arati, Mahamangala Arati. We wave the camphor in front of God. Why do we do this? Actually, if we research and try to find out, there is a practical reason, there is a beautiful emotional and philosophical reason. The practical reason is, in the ancient times, in the temples, there was no electricity, there were no tube lights, there were no bulbs. And the only way the deity would be lit was through lamps. And in order to help you focus, in fact, even if you go to temples, some of the older temples and some of the large temples in India today, you will see that the sanctum sanctorum, that is where the deity is, doesn't have much lighting. It's lit only through lamps traditionally. And then what would happen is, all the devotees will gather at one particular point in time for the arti. And when they gather, the priest will gently light a flame and take it from up to down, like this. When we say Mangala Arati Antuko, so that all the devotees who have gathered can see the beautiful form from top to toe. That's the practical reason. And then, everybody wants to take back something like prasad, something consecrated. We do that. When we go to Puttaparthi, we buy vibhuti. When we forget a religious place, you go to the Leaning Tower of Pisa and you take some photos. You go to some garden and you try to pick up that sand there. Say, we go to a river and say, this is the sand from River Ganga. We feel something, or we take selfies, if not anything else, right? As a memory. So, when a lot of people gather in multiple temples, it is economically costly possibly to give prasad, give fruits or give food to eat. The easiest, most economical is this flame. This flame that has been near God is brought to everybody, and everybody gets a feeling that this flame that has been consecrated by the Lord, I am also taking it. I warm my hand, the warmth of the flame. That's easy, right? It's economical also. And Swami gives a beautiful philosophical message. Swami says every time Aarti is done, look at the camphor. The camphor is pure, it's white, purity. It's fragrant. And what does it do? What is the purpose of the camphor? To burn itself and highlight the Lord. And Swami says every time Aarti is done, in your heart, the feeling that should come is, my life also should be a fragrant one, should be a one of purity, and I should spend my life in lighting up divinity for everybody. And at the end of it, when people are so thrilled, we could see God. Who is it that made it possible for us to see God? What there? Nothing is there. Camphor leaves behind no trace. Absolutely humble, without any ego. So why I'm saying this is, in the world, as you said, for studying, there is a purpose. I'm going to get marks. There is a result for every effort that I put in. When I do a job, I get money. But you know what? I'm sure the elders will agree. or maybe even some youngsters who have experienced, I will definitely agree that how much ever I get these results, these worldly results, I don't get that satisfaction, I don't get that happiness. I want more, I want more. And it's not as if that more is going to get me happiness. I think that that more will get me happiness. And so I keep trying and trying and trying and go to the richest man in the world. He is not the happiest. Go to the man or the woman who has had the most number of relationships. He or she are not the happiest. Go to the most powerful person in the world. They say that is the president of the United States. Do you think that Donald Trump was the happiest man in the world? No, it is not giving you. Because Swami says happiness is union with God. And when you realize this truth, not that happiness is union with God, but the truth that there is no happiness in this world. What is it that gives happiness? And when we start understanding what is it that gives happiness, we start wondering, how do I reach that? And if we start scientifically observing how to reach that, we will realize that I need to calm my mind. How do I calm my mind? I'm having 1,000 thoughts. I have to reduce the number of thoughts. I have to become thoughtless in the positive way. Absolutely no thoughts. Then there is no worry, no fear. I'm always happy. But it's difficult to become absolutely thoughtless. So let me try to reduce the number of thoughts. How do I reduce the number of thoughts? By focusing on one single thought. What is it that I should focus on? Should I focus on a bottle? Should I focus on a finger? No, let me focus on something very nice and positive. Yeah, some people call it God. We will realize that all these so-called rituals and practices are all meant to help us in that. Help us in our quest for ultimate happiness. Asking what is the purpose of following a religion is like saying, why does a person go to a gymnasium and stress out the body and get so many body pains and come back? Anybody with common sense or with a little bit of experience will say that no, you may get some pain, but it is going to strengthen that and it will make you fit, it will make you healthy. That is what it is. Spirituality does to our inner self what a gymnasium does for our outer self. And I feel the more we understand the reason and purpose, the logic behind the different practices that we do in the religion, examine, explore, ask questions, find out the reason. There will be a direct practical reason, there will be a metaphorical reason. Like in our practice, when we eat food, we take water in our hands and pour it around the plate. People say, what is all religious nuts? In the ancient times, we would sit on the floor and eat on banana leaves. As you're eating and relishing your meal, there would be ants that would walk into the leaf. Just to prevent that, you put water around your leaf so that the water acts as a barrier. That's it. So now when I sit on a ceramic tile or when I sit on a posh dining table, do I need to put? No, you need not put. But what they did was, along with the practical reason, they said, as you're offering it, think of all your ancestors. Think of your father, think of your grandfather, think of God. See, being grateful to your ancestors, being grateful to your community, being grateful to God, being grateful itself is a wonderful thing that helps us in getting peace. Being grateful helps us to focus on what we have rather than what we lack and gives us peace and joy. So all these rituals are built in such a manner that there is a physical activity and there is a practical reason and there is a philosophical and psychological reason which helps us. I think once we understand it, we will not have this question as to why we do all this. Just like nobody asks the question, why should I study? Why should I work? We will also understand it. But the problem is many times we as elders ourselves don't know the meaning. So I think we should practice first and then try to explain it. And I have tried it with my own daughter. Let me tell you, it works like magic. They're very, very, very accepting. They're very, very large. The children, when they're told the reason, they understand it very fast and they grasp it. So I think that's what we should do. Practice and then preach. And surely whoever it is will also understand the reason behind all these things in religion.
Wow, fantastic. Thank you so much for such a wonderfully comprehensive answer. That's very helpful. The next question that we have is, religion often diversifies because of differences in ideas and ideologies. For example, I may believe in a manifested form of God, and my friend may believe in the unmanifested form of God. And this being the case, what does acceptance, tolerance, respect for these different views look like? What should they look like? And where does one begin?
It's just like how Swami would say, like there are different sweets. There is gulab jamun, there is jangre, there is cake, there is cheesecake, different things. And different people have different favorites. But it's the same sugar, the same sweetness in all of them. So our flavors vary depending on our geography, depending on our environment in which we grow in. So now if I tell you that a chocolate cake is the best sweet, best treat in the universe, and you say no, a rasgulla is the best treat in the universe, what do we do? Say, oh, good. Oh, you like rasgulla? Fantastic. Let me try it. Nice, interesting. But yeah, I am happy with my chocolate cake. If I have to place an order, I'll place an order for chocolate cake. Same way, other person will let me try the chocolate cake. Interesting, very nice. Okay, good. So you like chocolate cake, great. But I like my rasgulla. Let me have it. And we have no fights about that, right? We just enjoy. We accept diversity when it comes to our food and tastes. I think it's just like that because it's also a taste. That's it. I like this form. So I don't criticize. I don't say you're a horrible person to enjoy a white globular sweet. You are a terrible person to enjoy something that is brown or black in color. What's that? Yuck. We don't do that. We don't do that also. And even if at times we are positively nauseated by the food that other is eating, it might happen at times. Oh God. We make efforts not to show it also. He likes it or she likes it. It's her freedom. Let her enjoy it. If I am nauseated, I'll just ensure that I don't sit next to a person who is eating this. But it's okay, their choice. We give them that freedom. I think the same thing works like that in religion as well. Yeah, I think there is no need to give up on what we like. At the same time, understand that others' tastes will vary. So it's fine. You enjoy that. I enjoy this. As long as you don't force me and say that, hurt me by saying mine is horrible, I have a very bad choice, very bad taste, and you criticize mine, I will also not criticize. I think it's about live and let live.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much, Arvinana. So at this time, I'd like to invite our president, Uncle Sudhakar, to give a vote of thanks.
I offer my humble pranams at the lotus feet of our dear Mother Sai. Wow. On behalf of trustees, the executives, and all our center members, we want to thank you profusely for this beautiful, beautiful 40 minutes. I wish it was longer, but because of the time constraints, it is. But we would really like to have more of this pearls of wisdom from you. You very simply, in a very simple manner, in a very easy manner, you made us understand the fundamental basis of all religions, which is love, the underlying principles. That was something which our SSC children will be, cherishing for a long time. And the importance of the Sarvadharma symbol and its origin, where you took us back in time, and the discussion between the devotees and Swami, and that was also very profound this morning. You also emphasized on the expansion and the celebration of variety of religions. I personally like Rasgulla, brother. So so yeah, and there's a beautiful analogy of how and simplified analogy of how religions vary, but the underlying principles. Your personal experience, that was also very interesting. The personal experience of your interaction with Swami, and Swami telling you to be loyal to a single religion, like you mentioned in your act. Do you know what's behind the costume? I think that's very profound. So I think this will really help our SSC children, not only our SSC children or young adults, as well as adults as well, to really, really, go inward and think about how this is, playing out for all of us in this very difficult times with so much information download and this thing. So really, really, on behalf of the trustees, the executives, we want to take time to thank you. And I also want to take this opportunity to thank Sister Usha, Brother Param, and Dan for putting this program together. I know they've done a lot of hard work behind the scenes. And special thanks to Akhil, who's our media guy, who's the communication lead for our center, and he's done a wonderful job. So thank you, Akhil, for your time. And again, if there is another opportunity, Brother Aravind, we would love to have you, just not in this media. We would love to have you in person. And I'm hoping and praying to Bhagwan that he'll give us that opportunity. And we're looking forward to having you again talk to our congregation. Again, on behalf of everyone, we would like to thank you. Please stay safe, and thank you once again. I would like to close with Om and Samasta Loka. Before we do that, let's pray for the welfare of all our brothers who are sick and suffering, brothers and sisters who are not well at this time. Oh, Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Jai Bolo Bhagwan Sri Sri Sathya Sai Baba Ji ki Jai. Sri Sai Ram.
तत्सवितु वरेण्यम् भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात् तत्सवितु वरेण्यम् भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात् तत्सवितु वरेण्यम् भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात् तत्सवितु वरेण्यम् भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात् तत्सवितु वरेण्यम् भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात् तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यम् भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यम् भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यम् भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यम् भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यम् भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यम् भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यम् भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यम् भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यम् भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात्। भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात्। भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात्। भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात्। भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात्। भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात्। भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात्। भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात्। भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात्। भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात्। भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात्। भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात्। भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात्। भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात्। भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात्। भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात्। भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात्। भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात्। भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यम् भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात् भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यम् भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात् भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यम् भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात् भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यम् भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात् भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यम् भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात् भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यम् भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात् भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यम् भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात् भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यम् भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात् भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यम् भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात् भूर्भुवस्सुवः Bhurvusvaha Tatsavitu Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayat Bhurvusvaha Tatsavitu Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayat Bhurvusvaha Tatsavitu Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayat Bhurvusvaha Tatsavitu Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayat Bhurvusvaha Tatsavitu Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayat Bhurvusvaha Tatsavitu Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayat Bhurvusvaha Tatsavitu Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayat Bhurvusvaha Tatsavitu Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayat Bhurvusvaha Tatsavitu Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayat तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यम् भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात् भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यम् भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात् भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यम् भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात् भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यम् भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात् भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यम् भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात् भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यम् भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात् भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यम् भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात् भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यम् भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात् भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यम् भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात् तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। भूर्भुवस्सुवः
यतां देव नारायण नमोऽस्तु ते। विसर्गबिन्दुमात्राणि पदपादाक्षराणि च न्यूनानि चातिरिक्तानि क्षमस्व साईश्वर। अपराधसहस्राणि क्रियन्ते हर्निशं मया दासोऽयमिति मां मत्वा क्षमस्व साईश्वर। अन्यथा शरणं नास्ति त्वमेव शरणं मम। तस्मात् कारुण्यभावेन रक्ष रक्ष साईश्वर। हरिः ॐ तत्सत् श्री साईश्वरार्पणमस्तु। स्वस्ति प्रजाभ्यः परिपालयन्ताम् न्यायेन मार्गेण महीमहीषाः। गोब्राह्मणेभ्यः शुभमस्तु नित्यम्। समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु। समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु। समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः।
अम्बिकतनया गजानना अम्बिकतनया गजानना अम्बिकतनया गजानना अम्बिकतनया गजानना गजानना गणनाथ गजानना गजानना गणनाथ गजानना पाहि गणेशा विनायका पाहि गणेशा विनायका त्रिभुवन पालक मंगलदायक विद्या बुद्धि सिद्धि प्रदायक विद्या बुद्धि सिद्धि प्रदायक पाहि गणेश विनायक पाहि गणेश विनायक पाहि गणेश विनायक अंबिकतनया गजानना गजवदना गणनाथ गजानना पाहि गणेश विनायका त्रिभुवन पालक मंगलदायक विद्या बुद्धि सिद्धि प्रदायक पाहि गणेश विनायक पाहि गणेश विनायक पाहि गणेश विनायक अंबिकतनया गजानना
गुरु महिमा
मथुरानाथा गोपाला मथुरानाथा गोपाला गोकुल बाला गोपाला गोकुल बाला गोकुल बाला गोपाला गोकुल बाला गोपरिपाला गोपाला गोपरिपाला गोपाला 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 साई गोपाला मुरली मनोहर श्याम गोपाला मुरली मनोहर श्याम गोपाला मथुरा नाथा गोपाला गोकुल बाला गोपरिपाला गोपाला गोपरिपाला गोपाला 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 साई गोपाला मुरली मनोहर श्याम गोपाला मुरली मनोहर श्याम गोपाला मथुरा नाथा गोपाला
We are never away from the avatarais, avatarais, Sai, avatarais. Never away from the avatarais, avatarais, Sai, avatarais. We are never away from the avatarais, avatarais.
हे अनाथ नाथ साई तुम हो अंतर्यामी। हे अनाथ नाथ साई तुम हो अंतर्यामी। तुम हो मेरे भगवान। तुम हो मेरे भगवान। दीन दुख भंजन सहारा दो मुझे। दीन दुख भंजन सहारा दो मुझे। ओ मेरे साईं
जननी साई देवी दयामयी जननी साई देवी दयामयी जननी मां कृपालिनी मां जननी मां कृपालिनी मां तुम हो प्रेम स्वरूपिणी दया करो सत्य साई कृपा करो सत्य साई जननी प्रेमदायिनी जननी प्रेमदायिनी जननी साई देवी दयामयी
दिन दुखियों से प्रेम करो मेरा साई प्रसन्न होगा दिन दुखियों से प्रेम करो मेरा साई प्रसन्न होगा दिन दुखियों से प्रेम करो मेरा साई मेरा मैं तेरा ये प्रेम की बहती धारा साई मेरा मैं तेरा ये प्रेम की बहती धारा ये प्रेम की बहती ये प्रेम की बहती धारा मेरा साई प्रसन्न होगा मेरा साई प्रसन्न दिन दुखियों से प्रेम करो मेरा साई प्रसन्न होगा दिन दुखियों से प्रेम करो मेरा साई प्रसन्न होगा साई मेरा मैं तेरा ये प्रेम की बहती धारा मेरा साई प्रसन्न होगा
साई शंकरा सत्य साई शंकरा हे सत्य स्वरूपा शंकरा सत्य साई शंकरा विहारी शंकरा
कृष्ण मुरारी भव भयहारी हे गिरिधारी गोपाल
कृष्ण मुरारी भव भयहारी हे गिरिधारी गोपाल
कृष्ण मुरारी भव भयहारी हे गिरिधारी गोपाल परति विहारी हृदय विहारी भक्त सखा परति विहारी हृदय विहारी भक्त सखा भगवान भक्त सखा भगवान भक्त सखा भगवान भक्त सखा भगवान भक्त सखा कृष्ण मुरारी भव भयहारी हे गिरिधारी परति विहारी हृदय विहारी भक्त सखा भक्त सखा भक्त सखा भक्त सखा कृष्ण मुरारी भव भयहारी हे गिरिधारी गोपाल
माता माता साई माता 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 साई माता 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 साई माता 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 साई माता साई विश्व माता जगत माता साई विश्व माता जगत माता साई विश्व माता 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 साई माता 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 साई माता दुर्गा भवानी काली कपालिनी दुर्गा भवानी काली कपालिनी दुर्गा भवानी काली कपालिनी दुर्गा भवानी काली कपालिनी शांतिदायिनी साई माता शांतिदायिनी साई माता शांतिदायिनी साई माता शांतिदायिनी साई माता 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 साई माता 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 साई माता जगत माता साई विश्व माता जगत माता साई विश्व माता 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 साई माता 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 साई माता दुर्गा भवानी काली कपालिनी दुर्गा भवानी काली कपालिनी शांतिदायिनी साई माता शांतिदायिनी साई माता शांतिदायिनी साई माता शांतिदायिनी साई माता 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 साई माता
तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यम् भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यम् भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यम् भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्।
साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ श्रीभास्कराय विद्महे साई देवाय धीमहि तन्नः सूर्यः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ प्रेमात्मनाय विद्महे हिरण्यगर्भाय धीमहि तन्नः सत्यः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः।
ॐ तत्सत् श्रीनारायण तु पुरुषोत्तम गुरुतो सिद्धबोधतो स्कन्दविनायक सविता पावकतो सविता पावकतो ब्रह्मवादतो यहोशक्तितो येषु पिता प्रभुतो रुद्रविश्वतो रामकृष्णतो रहीमताओतो रहीमताओतो वासुदेवगो विश्वरूपतो चिदानन्द हरितो आदितीयतो कालदेव आत्मलिङ्ग शिवतो आत्मलिङ्ग शिवतो आत्मलिङ्ग शिवतो। ॐ जय जगदीश हरे स्वामी सत्य साई हरे भक्तजना संरक्षक भक्तजना संरक्षक अति महेश्वरा। ॐ जय जगदीश हरे शशिवदनाधिकरा सर्वा प्राणपते स्वामी सर्वा प्राणपते आश्रित कल्पणतीका आश्रित कल्पणतीका आवद्बान्धवा। ॐ जय जगदीश हरे माता गुरुदेवमु मर्यन्तयो नीवे स्वामी मर्यन्तयो नीवे नाद ब्रह्म जगन्नाथा नाद ब्रह्म जगन्नाथा नागेन्द्र शयना। ॐ जय जगदीश हरे ओंकार रूप ओजस्वी ओ साई महादेवा सत्य साई महादेवा मंगल आरती अंदुको मंगल को मंदर गिरिधारी ओम जय जगदीश हरे नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण 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 ओम नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम जय सद्गुरुदेवा नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण 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 ओम नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम जय सद्गुरुदेवा नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण 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 ओम नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम जय सद्गुरुदेवा शांति 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 परमं पवित्रं बाबा विभूतिं परमं विचित्रं लीला विभूतिं परमार्थ इष्टार्थ मोक्ष प्रदातं बाबा विभूतिम् इदमाश्रयामि साई बाबा विभूतिम् इदमाश्रयामि sacred as miraculous Baba's creation flowing from his blessed hand holy creation granting us the greatest wealth God's divine protection beloved Baba grant us liberation beloved Baba grant us liberation beloved Baba grant us liberation Asato ma Satgamaya Tamaso ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya Shanti 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 समस्त लोका सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्त लोका सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्त लोका सुखिनो भवन्तु शांति 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 जय बोलो भगवान श्री सत्य साई बाबा जी की जय साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्य सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वः प्रचोदयात्। साईश्वराय विद्महे 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 सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वः प्रचोदयात्।